They had the opportunity to put an end to things, but they did not. And they still continued to be on Kaurava's side. Yudhishthira, he played the game of dice. He gambled. He did not have any right to gamble based on his wife. He himself also had an opportunity. Arjuna himself had the opportunity to put an end to that nonsense. And he should have cut and had the fight then and there. They did not do that. So that battle that was going to be happening between the Kauravas and the Pandavas was much more than the fight for the kingdom. It was the fight for all the injustices that were meted out, where they brought in other parties that were not involved. Draupadi was never involved in any of the things that was happening. So it was basically a redemption opportunity for Pandavas also, to redeem themselves of the things that they did not act upon, because they were passively, they were resisting all those things that were happening prior. This was the opportunity. So at that time, the Swadharma. That is the reason why within our own civilizations, and if you really dig into that, the female energy, Shakti, is very revered, deeply revered, held in great esteem. And any time that female energy is disrespected, problem comes. In all families, if the lady of the house is very strong, the house flourishes. Often I have noticed, you may have also noticed, when the husband passes away, the lady is still behind, left. The family never breaks up. It is always very, very cohesive. It is strong. It is. When the lady of the house is gone, it just dissipates. That's the energy which is there. So often, so that's a good question, because now I've always wanted to talk about it and could never figure that one out. People often ask, why is it that we have so many problems? Why is it that we have so much sadness? If you think about lady and a man and a woman, the woman possesses certain natural qualities which are innate in her. Motherly, affectionate, compassion. She's an ocean of love. She has an ability to kind of make things calm. Man, on the other hand, is like a money gatherer, food gatherer, goes out in the workforce, gets the money, defends the family. If you think about various over the past centuries and how man has evolved, how families have evolved. So when the man used to come back from the work, or from a battlefield, or from wherever that he has gone, when he comes back to the home, that compassionate nature, the harmony, the love that was being generated by the lady, it's not that man doesn't have love. He also has it. But just like how, like for example, wood possesses fire within itself, stone doesn't have fire that much, you can light a stone on fire. There are natural resources, storehouses. So a lady generally will have these little bit more than a man does. So when the man would come back into the home, into the family fold, that compassion, that love which was being showered, it would kind of take down all the stress, take down all the weariness that used to happen. It used to create a sane, stressless atmosphere. And then back in the 10th century, 9th century, prior to that, ladies, they used to chant and participate in all the religious activities very, very actively. They used to also have this thing, Yagyopavit, Janevu. They used to participate in rituals, Homa, Yagyam. Very active participants there. Then around the 10th century or so, when the Muslim invaders started to come in from the Afghanistan and all those things, the women started to get protected, and then the veil system came in. Until then there was no veil and all those things. Parda dalne ka jo hai. Because the men, the people who were invading, from the northwest of India, Afghanistan and Persia, they would carry out all the ladies, women, kidnap them. So it became very protective, but then all of a sudden then what happened was the Parda system started to come in, and the ladies did not start to play a major role in the society. The suppression of the ladies started to come in, and slowly what happened was the Shakti, the divine energy which is supposed to be there, it started to diminish. Fast forward 8, 9 centuries, 10 centuries, now both the lady and the husband, both of them are in the workforce, highly competitive. Love, compassion, all those things started to fall. So when you're coming home itself, you're stressed because you're equally stressed out at home, at work. And when you're stressed out, it creates a stressful environment slowly all along. It's a ripple effect that gets created throughout the society. So one of the things when we tend to do, when we talked about charity and we talked about sattva guna and the love and the compassion starts to grow, is that we talked about Shiva, right? Shiva Shakti. Right now the male energy is predominant, is very dominant. The female energy is not that dominant. It's the female energy which needs to come up with a force. When there is a predominance of the female energy in this world, at that time you will see more harmony happen. Until then, the manly energy which is there, the male energy which is there, it is always about wars, it is always about suppression, it is always about overpowering, competitiveness. It is those kind of traits that you will see in the society, which is not there in the prior times. We talk about in Chinese, we talk about yin and the yang. Same concept. So when we develop these things, the ladies will naturally will grow that, and the same thing will happen with the men folk also. And at that point in time, we will have a more harmonious relationship existing in the world. Questions on that, or any other questions?
Related to his question, when Krishna made Arjun fight the Mahabharata Yudh, when Draupadi asked him, like, what if you tell them just if they get 5 villages that they should not fight, what will happen to my insult? What insult had happened to me in front of everybody? So I believe, I'm remembering that Krishna said, your insult is not above the humanity or, the life of 1,000 innocent people. So you can let it go. Is that right? Was that happen? Like Krishna settle her down, like you should not keep your respect or your ego above this all.
At that time, when he talks about that, at that time there was still room for negotiations, certain things to happen. So if you were to look at the whole big Mahabharata, all these things happening, if Krishna were to appear, Krishna could have appeared on that time, at that time when the Vastraharan was happening. If he had done it, we wouldn't have gotten Bhagavad Gita.
But he did appear, only nobody could see him.
Yeah, but only in the form of, only for the
to protect her.
He did appear. That's all.
I think some people saw him. Very sense could see him.
Correct.
At that time also.
Correct. But the thing is, he could have come just like how he brought his Sudarshana Chakra. He uses Sudarshana Chakra once and he killed Shishupala. He could have done the same thing. It was very easy for him. But all the Mahabharata happening was happening only because of one thing. Bhagavad Gita.
Oh.
That's all it is. Bhagavad Gita, the divine energy, when he was talking to Arjuna, it was not because he wanted to talk to Arjuna. He wanted to give a physical, he could have just given it to us in the form of Veda. Kitna log Ved padhte hain? We don't have the time. It is very abstruse in nature. Very hard to comprehend what Vedas have to tell us. It is Gupta. It is mysterious. You cannot crack the code of Vedas. unless you go in and get a PhD in it. And still there are places where you cannot crack it. But here, the divine energy wanted to come down. That's the only energy form of all the forms that you would have seen, where he comes and lives like a human being and provides it with that information, Bhagavad Gita, and gives us the various aspects on how to lead our life and what we need to do with our life. That's the only comprehensive 700 verses. All the Mahabharata that happened was a flimsy reason, just to give us the Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranama. Two things.
If somebody is like doing lot of prayers, like his life is like everything is like related to God, he doesn't do any bad things, and he's doing lot of prayers, and just his all karma is very good, like he's not doing any bad, that means that person will get salvation. Is it right? Or other person on the other side is not doing his duties, not doing lot of prayers, just doing his good, he won't get salvation.
Okay, let me answer that question this way. We have a movie. In the movie we have hero, we have villain. Villain has to do bad things. Hero has to do good things. If the villain suddenly says, I'm not going to be a villain in this movie, will the movie run? No. Villain has to do his job. If he doesn't do his job, he doesn't get paid. Right? The villain does not do his job, he will not get his salvation. If Ravana did not do his job, Ravana did not get his salvation. If Hiranyakashipu did not do his job, he did not get salvation. If you look at, that is the one beauty of our Puranas. That's one beauty of all the stories that have been taught to us. That there is one conclusion, and which gets distilled in Bhagavad Gita, is there is no good, there is no evil. It is only when you are karma bandha that there is a goodness or there is a evil. There is a sadness, there is a happiness. These are all just bad. As long as there is good happening, evil is there. That's how nature is. This is law of nature. That's all it is.
To balance.
It's all there. That thing is always there. That the constant friction, that constant fight between good and evil is always there. You can never ever have 100% good. You can never ever have 100% evil. This is just a game that is being played. Otherwise, life will become boring. If everybody becomes good, life becomes boring. You don't like the movie if everything is good. There has to be some dishum. Only then we say, oh, life was good. It was good. But if we don't have that, then we say it was such a boring movie. Didn't have any depth. Unless and until we have sangharsh, unless and until we have a revolution, a resistance that happens within us, and it distills the pure aspects that comes out of it, until then it is not worth it. If I were to give you something very freely, think about some of the rich fathers. Do you give your money just like that to your children? No, you make them work. Sangharsh. A businessman never ever gives away his business empire to his sons just like that. Here, child, take it. He makes him work. Sangharsh is there. You could say, oh, my father is evil. Again, karma jo hai, to figure out karma is very hard. If Hiranyakashipu was 100% evil and he did all those things, he did his job, he went out, the salvation happened. Correct? Jaya Vijaya. See, these are all again flimsy reasons. Why what happened? If you were to look at the entire storyline that has happened, Jaya Vijaya, the two guards of Lord Narayana, they got cursed that you have to be born 3 times. And that's the reason why they were born as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and other. And they had to come and play in this world, and then they had to kill so many people and all those things. And while the killing was happening, some of them were getting redeemed. So this is just a Leela. That's why they call it as Leela. The game that gets played. And you get to play again and again. Now you have to decide how you want to play the game. When you die, and this is where our quest has been. I've been sharing this over the past 15 years. When you die, I want to be ensuring that I do not have any seeds, that I'm not reseeding any of my desires. That reseeding of my desires is happening by those 5 children that we talked about. If I brought 10 seeds with me into this life, I want to be leaving this life with 0 seeds. I don't want to reseed. And that's what we talked about, retrospection, introspection, and start to live in the moment that I shared. From now on, I should be eating the fruits, but I should not be getting attached to those fruits. Does that mean that my desires are going to go away? No. Desires are going to be there. But those desires, I'm going to be seeding it. I'm going to enjoy the fruit. I'm not going to be attached to the fruits. I've got more seeds. What kind of seeds do I have? I do not know. Nobody knows. We do not know. I do not know what seed I have got in my bag. You remember I talked about you were asking me about the experience that happened to me. When the first experience of the divine happened, it happened in a temple in California. And then my life kind of altered. For the next 3 days, it was mind-blowing. It was. I could not cut flowers for puja. I could not kill any insects. A deep reverence started to come. It happened in the purest of locations. And then I also shared the story where I had to clean the highly decomposed cats. And at that time he reveals, Hari, I am also here. Because there were maggots there. And I'm cleaning those 5 cats in a filthy place. At that time, the revelations were both ways. He existed in the purest of forms in a temple. He also existed in the dirtiest of places, which we deem as dirty. At that time, there's a shloka which I've been practicing and which is done in all the rituals. Apavitra pavitro va sarva vastangato va yasmaret pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantaras shuchihi. Apavitra pavitrova, apavitraha, apavitra, that which is unholy. Pavitrova, that which is holy, whether it is a temple or whether it is in a dead place that you are cleaning. Sarva vastangatopeva, that which exists in between these 2 extremes. Yasparet pundarikaksham, that when you take a moment and become spontaneous and you think of me, Yasmaret pundarikaksham, Pundari, Krishna, pundarikaksham is eyes, beautiful eyes. When you think of me, sabahya abhyantaras shuchihi. Sabahya, bahya meaning outside, abhyantara, antar, inside, shuchihi. Shuchi means cleaned, purified. You get purified both on the outside and the inside. We normally do it just before our rituals. When we started, we will pani se, we will bathe ourselves, chanting this mantra. At that time, it took a very special meaning that he exists everywhere, in both, in the holiest and in the most unholiest. It is our mind which judges. So one of the first things that we got to do is move out of this judgmental attitudes, because we do not know what's happening to the next person. So there is no good, there is no evil. But when I say that, unless you experience your own individual life, and we talked about this, retrospection. Because numerous bad things have happened within your life, but because of those bad things happened, some good things have happened also. They are all interconnected. What we are today is the product of all the things that have happened in the past. That's what has happened. We are the multiplication, addition, deletions of what all has happened. That's what we are today. That's the final end product today. There's no good, there's no evil. And when that conclusion has to happen, we have to come to that conclusion. That conclusion can happen only and only if you do the retrospection of your own individual life. Don't be worried about what's happening on the outside. Each one to himself or herself. So a person, Paramahamsa Ramakrishna used to share this story with his audience. There were two friends, and one of them said, I'm going to the prayer. There was a satsang that was happening, and the other one was going to go to the dance house. The person who went to the dance house, he was constantly thinking about the satsang that was happening. The person who went to the satsang was constantly thinking about the dance house. It is the quality of the thought that was there. You may be externally, you can be doing the puja, but if the thoughts are there somewhere else, that's negative energy that's being brought, and that's what is papam. That other man, the person who was in the dance house, when he was thinking about satsang constantly, he was not enjoying the dance. Punya was accumulating. It's the internal state of mind. We talked about Walt Disney, Disney World. If you put a sad person in Disney World is not doing anything. We always think Disney World gives us happiness. No. If I am sad, you put me in Disney World, I'm still sad. If I'm happy and I am in Disney World, I'm happy. Disney World is not giving me any happiness or unhappiness. That's the external focus aspect. You've got to pull out from that, move internal. To the second part of your question, and what we are doing, the quality of our life that we are leading, yes, it is because of karma. If today we are enjoying life, or if we are sad, it is because of karma. That is a fair statement. But it does not mean that you're being punished or that you're being praised or anything like that. That seed that you had gave you the ability to become sad. You're living that sadness 100%. Now you're done with it. You're mukta. If I have 4 seeds where I have to be happy and 6 seeds where I have to be unhappy, when I throw the unhappiness seed, and if I'm becoming unhappy, it is a prasadam. It's a prasad. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to sprout that unhappy seed. Now it is done. It has sprouted, it has bloomed, and I move on. Some of the best things in lives have come when we have been sad. We have been thrown into the beauty of the best of things. When we become sad, when we are pushed to the wall, when we had nothing else going for us. In that misery, out of that came beautiful things. That's the reason why every aspect of the divine is compared to that of the lotus. Lotus feet, lotus nabhi, lotus heart, lotus eyes, everything is lotus. That which grows forth from the marsh, dirt, which we call it as dirt, which is not dirt. Remember, apavitra pavitrova. It is our mental perception. And there comes that beautiful. If you think about Mother Earth, the soil itself is so dirty. Ooh, it's dirt. But out of the dirt comes beautiful things. Food, flowers, fruits. Bounty comes out. Once again, I will reiterate. If you do not do retrospection of your life, we will have questions constantly that will bog us. We will have constant situations that will throw us up and down. Our spiritual absorber will be very weak. We are a car. This body is a car. This vehicle has to run smooth on the roads, on the ups and downs of life. If my spiritual absorber is strong, the ups and downs shall go very normally. It is not that the ups and downs are going to go away, but but the ability to withstand the ups and downs of life, I'm very well prepared. May I answer, Mamta? Kind of.
Thank you.
It's you have to go through that experience. You can do that. Start with charity. And just have fun. We are all fun-loving people. Somewhere around the world, we stop having fun. We are always thinking for the next thing that's happening. Whatever we have right now, enjoy it. Become spontaneous. Love it. Somewhere we have lost it. We got to do that. Everything has become very transactional in nature. Money-based. That kind of thing. We lost it somewhere. Yeah.
So is charity another way to stop being attached to things in your own environment? Like say if you're attached to something or someone, the way you kind of dissipate that is by doing charity, right?
Yeah. You will automatically, the more you practice it, first it will be a very, very forced participation. After that it becomes just second nature when that's happening. And then slowly what will happen is you will get, the attachments will go away. It is not that you will stop, say if you're in a relationship or something like that, that you will become a sannyas or anything like that, or sannyasin. You'll be very well, you'll love that person, but it'll be a love which will be very, very open. Think of the flower analogy that I gave. The flower, if you put it in your palms, the flower will grow, the plant will grow. The moment you start becoming possessive in nature, you have crushed it. You have crushed the spirit of the other person, or whoever it is. If that love is meant for you to be, that love will stay with you forever. The love is supposed to move away from you, so shall it be. Let it go. That love could be for your job, love could be for your worldly possessions, love could be for your spouse, your beloved, whoever. That love is multifarious. But then it will help you not being possessive. This possessiveness is what drives and gets all the energy. The energy just goes away. That will help. Because now you're thinking above and beyond.
We have heard sometimes if you cannot do like if somebody cannot afford to do like money with money, you cannot do anything with money. Like you cannot donate money if you can work physically. Like if you can do your physical services somewhere, that is equally good.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you do not have money and you go there and volunteer in a hospital, volunteer in some other non-profit organization, food bank, temple, that's good too. Just do it once and you will see, man, I'm so happy. This is beautiful because what? You're not expected of to do anything. You could be cleaning the bathroom. Gandhiji used to just go himself and clean the bathrooms, the restrooms. He was happy. It will not matter because you are now spontaneously or very happy within inside you. It's that quest, that contentment which is inside, which is what one is after. Simple things, small things. It does not have to be with money. But because we are money-minded, कांटे को कांटे से ही निकाल सकते हैं. You can remove a thorn with a thorn only. Just because we are very transaction-oriented. That's the reason why money in aspects of charity, is brought in. But if one doesn't have the facility, he could be helping out in numerous other ways. Yes. See, she's got that love. Big love. And that's what is needed. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking about the seed analogy. And if your sad seed is blooming out, how do you make yourself happy? Like, what is the definition of happiness to humanity?
Okay, good question. If you're feeling sad, and if I come and tell you be happy, at that time, there is no state called happiness. It is only sadness that I'm experiencing. So once you acknowledge that you're feeling sad, because a lot of times when we become sad, we do not know we are becoming sad. But once you know that you are becoming sad, you will burn that sadness, the time it takes for you to come out of that sadness, that time will come down. And then automatically you will become more cheerful in nature. We talked about temperature a few months ago. When we set the thermostat at 75 degrees, we ask 75 degrees cold or 75 degrees hot, right, on thermostat. If it is summer, we say 75 degrees cold. If it is winter, we say 75 degrees hot. At that time, when you're setting 75 degrees hot, there is no space for cold. It's only hot. Same way in the summer, 75 degrees cold, there's no space for heat. That state does not even exist. Correct? You agree with me, dear? 75 degrees, it's only a number. Cold and heat is what we are after. If I want cold, there is no space for heat at all. Correct? I cannot have heat even 1% in there. Once I've enjoyed that summer of cold, that seed of cold, now it's time for me to enjoy the seed of hot. Okay? It's a seed. Same thing is a seed of sadness. I have to enjoy the seed of sadness and then a seed of happiness. If it comes, then I enjoy the seed of happiness. And when I say that there is no sadness or there is no happiness, how you come to the conclusion to that is take your own life and you do your retrospection. That is my foundation. At a time when you can always look back at your life, we do not know what is coming in the future. We do not know. But in my past, in this, I know when I really felt sad. And at that time, I said, oh, if I did not become sad, I missed that opportunity, I did not get some other better opportunity. Say, if I want a doll, and my mother does not give me that doll, because my mother is all-knowing, right? She knows that another upgraded doll is coming 6 months from now. And if I have only $100, and that's all my budget is, right? If my mother allowed me to get that doll for $100 at this time, at this point in time, for example, when I was, say, 6 years old, and my mother didn't give it to me, and I'm now angry, I'm like sad. But then, now you're 8, okay? You're now looking back in your life. You're now 8 years, this is 7 years, this is 6 years. So then you're saying, I'm going to find out what is this sadness, what is this happiness all about. When I was 6, I wanted to have this doll, but I had only $100 with me. My mother did not give me that doll because at 6.5 years, I got an upgraded doll which is going to last me for another 3 years. Because I did not get that doll, I was able to get the better doll. I was happy. So if the sadness did not happen, the happiness did not happen. Okay? At that point, you come to a conclusion that sadness was what my mind told me. Happiness is what my mind told me. There is no sadness, there is no happiness. Why? Because I did not know what was coming in my future. When I do not know what is not coming in my future, at that time I get thrown up and down because I am now anguished. I think, oh my God, I've lost this opportunity of a job, for example, of a car, of a wedding, of numerous other things that we can extrapolate it. And at that moment, once you do this retrospection, and then you say, from now on, I'm going to fully be aware of what's happening in my life. Always we look at our life either in the past or in the future. We never look at our life right now. So today, if something were to be happening to me, and then I say, and my mind is saying that I am not happy, I'm going to watch my life. 6 months from now, what happens? Let me see. Just like now what you did, the retrospection of your life. And then you start living in the moment. And then after that what happens is, there is no more sadness, there is no more happiness. But you are fully involved in each and every aspect of your life. Okay? Retrospection is one of the first important things that one has to do. And when we do that, automatically what will happen is everything that we do, whether it be puja, whether it be work, anything that we do in our life, will become beautiful. Prayer shall not become for the sake of prayer. You will do prayer, you will become prayer. You don't have to sit down and do meditation. You become meditation. Every waking moment of your life becomes meditative in nature. You don't have to make any effort to go to Walt Disney and become happy. You're becoming happy here itself. And you give happiness to Walt Disney and come. Right? You go to those clowns there and you go say something bad to them, the clown will not be happy. The clown will become sad and he will show his sadness to other people. Because who? The employee inside the cartoon character has to be happy. So you will go and give your happiness over there and you will come. You will make them more happier. But it's a very good question that you asked. Thank you. Happiness. Remember, I shared this last 2 weeks ago. Happiness, hap. Hap means luck. So happiness is luck. If you're lucky, you can be happy. That's what happiness is. That's why we don't call it happiness. We just call it anandam. It's just bliss. So please do retrospection of your own individual life. And that will give you the power to forgive and power to forget also. And then you become in charge of your own destiny. You become your own. You are in charge. Okay. Other question. Is everybody okay with this?
But on that note, you're saying that you'll get in charge, but then you say you should leave out to everything to God. He does everything, right?
That state will come. So initially you will be in charge. And then once your adult ego starts to translate into a child ego, you will start attribute everything to the mother, everything to the divine energy. The adult ego has to translate. Ego is always there. Only thing is the adult ego has to get changed to translate it to child ego. Adult ego, as I've explained it, is vindictive in nature, is competitive in nature. It'll never allow other people to grow unless they are of your own. Child ego, on the other hand, is very universal in nature, is very compassionate in nature, loving in nature. And then when you see these spontaneity, when you see these ups and downs of life, of your own internal life that has happened, and then you say, I'm not now going to be sad, I'm not going to be happy anymore. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm not going to be happy anymore. No, not like that. It is just that your spiritual absorber is now strong. And when that starts to happen, you will start living the life very, very harmoniously. वो भजन गाते हैं ना, वो सब कुछ है आपका तेरा, जो कुछ है मेरा आपका है. Then at that time, you will say, Bhagavan, everything is yours. You become very childlike. You also remember the story that I told you, shared with you about, since you're here, I'll share the story. The young girl asked her mother about one red thing. And the mother gave it to her. The child, the girl, she eats that. She's very happy. It's very sweet. The next few months go by, she remembers the red thing. And then she asks again, Amma, can you give this to me? Amma says, no, this time I'm not giving it to you. Child cries. The first time when Amma gave it to her, it was a red cherry. The second time when Amma did not give it to her, it is red chili. Both are identical looking. जब हम बोलते हैं भगवान सब कुछ है आपका, तेरा है सब कुछ, at that point in life, when you have introspected and retrospected your whole life, at that time you will say मेरा कुछ नहीं है. I am not a planner, but initially you will say I am a planner. If I were to say you are not a planner, you will say I am cheating on myself. You think right now that I am the planner. I have the ego right now, that is that adult ego that is happening. Slowly you will let go of that planning. But does not mean अब इंडिया जा रहे हैं तो इंडिया के लिए टिकट तो खरीदना पड़ेगा, प्लानिंग तो है, जो होएगा सो होएगा. It will happen of its own. But then now you are very secure because Amma is with you. When the divine energy is with you, the child is not fearful at all. You become abhay. Normally when we say, oh मुझे किसी का डर नहीं है, it is out of our ego that we say, out of our pride that we say, oh I'm not afraid, वो देखते हैं क्या करेगा. ठीक है? जब बच्चा में होके नहीं क्या करेगा, it is भगवान is there, Mother Nature is there, that energy is there. जो हम शक्ति बोलते हैं, what we call as Shakti, the ability to talk, the ability to walk, the ability to do anything, I need energy. That is divine in nature because it is enabling me to do so many beautiful things. That is what we call as divine energy. And now you give a form of a Shiva, of a Narayana, of a Krishna, and you just fall in love with that energy. That love is now beautiful. And it is that love, when that happens, that spontaneity automatically kicks in. Okay? So today's topic, since we're going to put it on the video, right, on the YouTube, is centered. You got to be centered in whatever you do. Do charity. It could be volunteering work. It could be in the form of money. It could be whatever that is convenient to you. And once again, at no point in time are you alone in this world because you are a product of Prakriti, nature, Mother Nature. You have the entire supply system, which is your friend. So with that thought, we conclude today's session. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam. Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Smarami Narayana Tattvavyayam. Swasya Prajagat Paripalayantam. Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha. Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastanityam. Loka Samasta Sukhano Bhavantu. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु ते। विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तम।